How's it going, everybody? I'm Steve, and welcome back. So, spooky season is right around the corner, and tonight I want to do like a ranking of my top 10 favorite masters of horror. So, this is basically for fun. It's not something to be taken personally. Obviously, leave in the comments, let me know your top 10. Doesn't have to be mine necessarily. So, there were some directors on my list before I actually removed them off that list. They'd be like 11 through 20 now, but I had like Clive Barker, Polanski, Fulci. Basically, on my list, I'm going to focus on like the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So on your list, if you want to do like 21st century, filmmakers, you can do that. Basically, I'm talking about like the filmmakers that are like basically influenced like modern horror. And of course, you had some directors that did like one horror film, like Stanley Kubrick did The Shining. Yeah, Richard Donner did The Omen. William Friedkin did The Exorcist. So I didn't want to include those directors on my list, but obviously you can include those if you'd like to. But let's get started on this one. So I'm going to mention a lot of great films in these directors, but I'm only going to like showcase like one film, basically like the most popular film. Basically, later on you'll see some box sets. But at number 10, this one's a great director from the 80s. Director is Sam Raimi, and of course I'm talking about the Evil Dead franchise. This starring his best friend Bruce Campbell. Later he would produce like the Ash vs. Evil Dead TV series, and he has like the Drag Me to Hell movie as well. But this one's probably like the most horror, basically, the franchise. As far as the ones that he's directed. Obviously, Evil Dead 2 is like a lot of like comedy. He did like Army of Darkness, a lot of comedy in that one. So at number 9, I had to include at least one Giallo director. Director is Dario Argento, and of course, Suspiria is one of his most popular films. He has Inferno, Deep Red, Phenomena, also known as Creepers, Demons, Demons 2. So very important. Obviously, he worked a lot with Romero later on. Basically late 70s. So at number 8, I include at least one body horror director. Director is David Cronenberg, and of course, The Fly is probably his most popular film. I love The Dead Zone. It's a Stephen King story. Great film. Christopher Walken. It had The Brood's really good. Videodrome, Scanners, fantastic. He's a Canadian director. Shivers is one of his first films. Really strange film. Really low budget. So at number 7, I actually have this director at number 5 right before hitting record on this video. This director is from Texas, and it's Tobe Hooper. Obviously, he directed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 and 2. Did Salem's Lot, the Stephen King story. He did Poltergeist, the Steven Spielberg story. Eaten Alive, the Fun House. So a great director. Obviously, this is like a really low budget film. It's amazing because this movie was low budget and actually made a lot of money. It's a cult classic, basically, but classic film from a classic director that's passed away. Okay, so number 6, this director actually started out doing like horror films. Then he kind of transitioned to like thrillers, basically. I would kind of argue that thrillers are sort of like highbrow horror films, basically. But the director is Brian De Palma, and Carrie is probably his like most famous horror film, basically. But he did like Sisters. He did Phantom of the Paradise. Then later on, they did like Dressed to Kill, which is sort of like a horror film. It's like basically like a slasher. If you watch that movie, it's kind of like a slasher. It has like a blowout. Body Double is sort of like a film about a film making making a horror film, basically. But so I would say Brian De Palma is really important as far as horror. So number 5, I have another Canadian director. Director is James Cameron. Obviously, he's known for The Terminator. This movie is like a pure like horror film, really scary. Terminator 2 is more of like an action film with like scary elements to it. Obviously, you have Aliens. This one's obviously is part of the Ridley Scott original, a sequel to that one. There's actually a YouTuber called The Kobe Show. I actually watched her channel last night. I love watching like young people watch films like classic horror films and kind of react to them. It's great. This is like the first time she ever saw it, and she's definitely she got all the points to it. It's fantastic. I love watching that. So I definitely recommend somebody that's young to definitely check this film out. So number 4, I have another icon that's passed away. Director is Wes Craven. Of course, I'm talking about the franchise from Freddy, Nightmare on Elm Street. He did the Scream franchise. He did like the Hills Have Eyes, Swamp Thing, Last House on the Left. Obviously, back in the 90s, Scream definitely brought the slasher films back. So you can thank Wes Craven for doing that. Horror films were definitely more highbrow in the 90s, definitely starting off in that decade. And he brought it back to the basic slasher film. But I definitely love the first Scream film. Okay, so number 3, I have another icon that's passed away. Director is George Romero. He's known for Night, Dawn, and Day of the Dead. Creepshow, obviously the Stephen King story. Martin, he has the new trilogy, basically the new zombie trilogy. Land of the Dead's probably the best one in that trilogy. But so it was great to see George come back and do some zombie films. Right at the end, it's like the last films they ever did, the last 3 films. So that was great. But I love watching his, listening to like his commentaries. It's so great. That's why I really love like audio commentary, just to hear like former, like filmmakers that passed away. It's great to hear their voices again. So number 2, I have a great director here. He's actually still alive. Fantastic, he's still with us. Director is John Carpenter. So he's known for Halloween. He's known for The Thing, The Fog, Prince of Darkness, They Live. Christine, that's another Stephen King story. In the Mouth of Madness. Fantastic. Love watching like Body Bags. Most recently, he does like a commentary on that one. It's great. I really love listening to his commentaries as well. It's so much fun. Okay, so number 1, of course, I had to include this icon as well. This is the master of suspense. And before we go any further, roll thunder. So of course, I had to include Alfred Hitchcock on my list. This is a great box set, by the way. You can get these all on 4K now. But I would say Psycho may be like the first like modern horror film. It's definitely like a slasher film. Fantastic. I really like The Birds, Vertigo, Rear Window is really great. But yeah, I would say without Hitchcock, there wouldn't be like thrillers and horror films. he definitely did some like really great films before this, but this like the really first really scary film he ever did. Okay, everybody, really appreciate watching this video. Like I said, please leave in the comments your top 10. Like I said, it can be like 21st century directors if you'd like James Wan and Ari Aster if you'd like. I wanted to stay focused on the directors that I feel like were like the main influences for like modern day horror. That's what I wanted to do. But like I said, there's really no wrong answers. But if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider doing that. Please put a thumbs up on this video, and everybody have a great one.